Imagine this. You're clinging to a sheer cliff face in the heart of the Grand Canyon. 2,000 feet above the raging Colorado River. Your torch flickering in the wind. You've just stumbled upon a hidden cave entrance sealed for millennia. And as you step inside, you're met with a sight that defies history. A vast underground city carved into the rock, filled with golden statues of Egyptian gods, mummified giants wrapped in ancient linens, and hieroglyphics whispering secrets of a civilization that should never have reached these shores. But before you can share this discovery with the world, the Smithsonian Institution swoops in and every trace of it vanishes. What did they find in that cave? Why was it hidden? And what if it's still out there, buried beneath the canyon's timeless depths, waiting to rewrite everything we know about our past? This is the story of the lost Egyptian city of the Grand Canyon. A tale so extraordinary it has sparked a century of conspiracy theories and unanswered questions. Welcome to a journey where history and mystery collide, where the impossible becomes plausible, and where the truth might be stranger than fiction. Let's dive into the heart of this enigma, unraveling the clues, the cover-ups, and the shadows of an ancient world hidden within one of Earth's greatest wonders. Our journey begins in the early 20th century, specifically in the year 199 when a remarkable article appeared on the front page of the Arizona Gazette newspaper, published on the 5th day of April. This piece was titled, "Explorations in Grand Canyon, Mysteries of Immense Rich Cavern Brought to Light." It detailed an extraordinary discovery made by an explorer named G. Kincaid, who claimed to have stumbled upon a vast underground citadel while navigating the treacherous waters of the Colorado River. Kincaid, described as a seasoned adventurer with a background in archaeology and exploration, had been traveling alone in a small wooden boat, scouring the canyon for mineral deposits. The Grand Canyon, with its sheer cliffs rising thousands of feet and its river carving through ancient rock layers, was already a symbol of untamed wilderness. But what King reportedly found went far beyond natural wonders. It suggested a connection to civilizations from across the ocean. Civilizations that history tells us should never have reached the shores of North America. According to the article, King Kincaid's adventure started when he noticed an unusual stain on the canyon wall, high above the river level, approximately 2,000 feet up. The stain, he believed, indicated the presence of a cave entrance, possibly rich in copper or other metals. Driven by curiosity and the promise of discovery, he scaled the precarious cliff face, a feat that required immense skill and bravery, as one slip could mean a fatal plunge into the raging waters below. Upon reaching the entrance, King entered what he described as a meticulously carved tunnel extending deep into the marble-like rock. The passage was straight and uniform, suggesting it had been crafted by intelligent hands rather than natural erosion. As he ventured further, using a torch to illuminate the darkness, he realized this was no ordinary cave. It opened into a series of chambers and hallways that formed an elaborate underground complex reminiscent of the grand tombs and temples of ancient Egypt. The Arizona Gazette article painted a vivid picture of what Cade encountered inside. The main chamber, or what he called the crypt, was enormous, measuring about 100 feet in circumference with walls sloping inward like a dome. From this central hub radiated several passages, each leading to additional rooms filled with artifacts that defied explanation. Among the finds were copper tools, weapons with sharp edges that showed no signs of rust despite their apparent age, and urns filled with what appeared to be seeds or grains. But the most astonishing elements were those that bore unmistakable Egyptian influences. Kincaid reported discovering hieroglyphics etched into the walls and on tablet symbols that resembled those from the Nile Valley depicting gods, pharaohs, and mystical rituals. There were statues of deities, some crafted from a hard black stone, others from gold-like metals, portraying figures with headdresses and staffs that echoed the iconography of Osiris, Isis, and Ra. Deeper into the complex, King claimed to have found mummified remains preserved in a manner similar to Egyptian embalming techniques. These bodies wrapped in linens and adorned with amulets were arranged in shrines or altars, suggesting this was not just a storage site, but a sacred burial ground or ceremonial center. The article mentioned that some mummies were of unusually large stature, hinting at beings taller than modern humans, which has fueled later speculations about giants or advanced races. Additionally, there were artifacts that blended Egyptian styles with elements from other ancient cultures, such as Tibetan or Asian influences, including symbols that looked like lotus flowers intertwined with serpents and tablets inscribed in a script that combined hieratic writing with unknown characters. King Cade estimated that the underground city could have housed up to 50,000 people at its peak based on the size of the chambers and the presence of ventilation shafts that drew fresh air from the surface. As King explored further, he gathered a few small artifacts to bring back as evidence: a golden cup etched with strange symbols, a fragment of a hieroglyphic tablet, and a small idol resembling the Egyptian god Anubis. He then descended the cliff and continued his journey down the river, eventually reaching civilization, where he contacted the Smithsonian Institution. The Smithsonian, a prestigious organization dedicated to the preservation and study of history and science, was intrigued by his report. They dispatched a team led by Professor S.A. Jordan, an archaeologist affiliated with the institution, to investigate the site. Jordan's expedition, consisting of several experts, returned to the cave and conducted a more thorough examination. According to the Gazette, they confirmed Cade's findings and unearthed even more treasures. Vast halls filled with relics, including war weapons, household utensils made of copper, and glazed pottery that shone as if newly fired. The article quoted Jordan as saying that the discoveries were of such magnitude that they could rewrite the history of the world. He speculated that this underground citadel might have been built by an ancient race that migrated from Egypt around 3000 years before Christ, perhaps fleeing some catastrophe or seeking new lands. The architecture, with its precise angles and durable construction, suggested advanced engineering knowledge far beyond what was attributed to the indigenous peoples of the Americas at that time. Jordan's team reportedly spent weeks cataloging the site, sending initial reports back to Washington, District of Columbia, where the Smithsonian's headquarters were located. The Gazette promised follow-up stories on the progress, building excitement among readers who were eager to learn more about this bridge between the old world and the new. However, this is where the mystery deepens into the realm of conspiracy. After the initial article, no further official reports emerged from the Smithsonian. Inquiries from the public and other newspapers were met with silence or outright denials. The institution claimed no knowledge of Cade or Jordan, stating that no such expedition had ever been funded or documented in their records. This abrupt shutdown of information led many to suspect a deliberate cover-up. Why would the Smithsonian, an entity entrusted with unveiling the truths of history, choose to bury such a groundbreaking discovery? Theorists argue that the findings challenge the established narrative of human migration and civilization development. If ancient Egyptians had indeed reached the Grand Canyon, it would upend the idea that Christopher Columbus was the first to connect the continents in a meaningful way, and it would suggest trans-oceanic travel capabilities thousands of years earlier than accepted. Moreover, the presence of Egyptian artifacts in North America could imply cultural exchanges or even colonies established by pharaohs, perhaps during the time of Ramses or earlier dynasties. This would force a reevaluation of textbooks, museum exhibits, and academic careers built on the isolationist theory of American prehistory. Some believe the Smithsonian, influenced by government officials or powerful interests, decided to suppress the evidence to maintain social and scientific order. There are whispers that artifacts were secretly transported to hidden vaults within the Smithsonian storage facilities, where they join other anomalous objects deemed too controversial for public view. Over the years, employees and whistleblowers have allegedly come forward with tales of restricted sections housing items like giant skeletons, crystal skulls, and now these Egyptian relics from the Grand Canyon. Adding fuel to the conspiracy fire are the restricted zones within the Grand Canyon itself. Vast areas of the national park are off-limits to the public, ostensibly for environmental protection or Native American sacred sites. However, skeptics point out that many of these forbidden regions bear names inspired by Egyptian mythology. The Tower of Ra, the Isis Temple, the Osiris Temple, the Pyramid of Chops, and the Shiva Temple. These monikers were given by early explorers like Clarence Dutton in the 1800s, who drew parallels between the canyon's majestic formations and ancient wonders. But is it mere coincidence, or did these neighbors know of hidden connections? Conspiracy theorists suggest that the government, aware of the underground city, cordoned off these areas to prevent accidental discoveries. Drones and satellites are said to monitor the zones, and rangers enforce strict no-entry policies with severe penalties for trespasses. The story of King and Jordan has persisted despite official denials, thanks in part to modern investigations and alternative history enthusiasts. In recent decades, researchers have attempted to locate the exact cave, described in the article using coordinates estimated from Kincaid's account about 42 miles upriver from El Tovar Crystal Canyon. Some claim to have found unusual cave entrances sealed with concrete or guarded by federal agents, though these reports remain unverified. Books, documentaries, and online forums dissect the Gazette article line by line, debating its authenticity. Critics argue it was a hoax perpetrated by the newspaper for sensationalism, perhaps inspired by the popular adventure novels of the era like those by H. Rider Haggard. They note inconsistencies such as the lack of photographic evidence or corroborating witnesses and the fact that no G.E. King or S.A. Jordan appears in historical records outside the story. Yet proponents counter that the absence of records is precisely the point the cover-up was thorough. They draw parallels to other alleged Smithsonian suppressions, like the giant human skeletons reportedly found in mounds across the United States in the 19th century, which were said to have been collected and then lost to hide evidence of a biblical Nephilim race. In the case of the Grand Canyon, the Egyptian link could also tie into theories of ancient astronauts or lost continents like Atlantis, where advanced knowledge was shared across the globe. Imagine, if you will, Egyptian priests navigating the seas, guided by stars or divine intervention, arriving in the American Southwest and carving out a subterranean refuge amid the red rocks. The canyon's geology with its billion-year-old layers might hold clues to cataclysmic events that forced such migrations. Floods, earthquakes, or cosmic impacts that reshaped the world. Let us pause for a moment to consider the cultural implications. The indigenous peoples of the region, such as the Hopi and Navajo tribes, have their own legends of underground worlds and ancient visitors. The Hopi speak of the Ant People, benevolent beings who sheltered their ancestors in subterranean chambers during times of destruction. Could these tales intersect with the Egyptian narrative? Perhaps the artifacts Kincaid found were not purely Egyptian, but a fusion, evidence of cultural diffusion, where Eastern wisdom met Native American spirituality. The hieroglyphics might encode shared knowledge of astronomy, medicine, or alchemy, passed down through generations, but erased from mainstream history. As we delve deeper into this enigma, questions multiply. What became of the mummies and tablets? Are they gathering dust in a Smithsonian warehouse? Or were they destroyed to eliminate threats to dogma? And why the Grand Canyon specifically? Its remote location, harsh terrain, and natural camouflage make it an ideal hiding spot for secrets. Explorers who have ventured off the beaten path report eerie experiences. Unexplained lights, flickering in distant caves, echoes that sound like ancient chants, or a profound sense of being watched by unseen eyes. These anecdotes, while anecdotal, add to the aura of mystery surrounding the site. In the years following the 199 article, similar stories emerged elsewhere. Reports of Egyptian-style artifacts in other American locations like the Mississippi Valley or the Appalachian Mountains suggest a broader pattern of transatlantic contact. Theorists like Eric von Daniken proposed that such anomalies point to extraterrestrial intervention where aliens imparted technology to ancient Egyptians who then spread it worldwide, including to the Grand Canyon. Others favor more earthly explanations such as Phoenician traders or lost Israelite tribes. But the Smithsonian's role remains central to the conspiracy. Freedom of Information Act requests have yielded nothing, only heightening suspicions. Today, in the year 2025, the tale endures as a cornerstone of alternative archaeology. Podcasts like this one and viral videos keep it alive, inspiring amateur sleuths to scan satellite imagery for hidden entrances. While science dismisses it as folklore, the human spirit craves the unknown, the possibility that our history is richer and more interconnected than we know. I invite you to ponder. What if Kincaid's discovery was real? What if beneath the Grand Canyon's splendor lies a portal to our forgotten past, guarded by institutions fearful of the truth? But our exploration does not end here. This underground Egyptian city is just the beginning of the Grand Canyon's secrets. For now, let the echoes of ancient Egypt lull you into sleep, dreaming of pharaohs wandering the American wilds. Good night, and may your slumbers be filled with historical wonders. Imagine standing at the rim, gazing into the abyss, where rock formations rise like sentinels bearing titles from Egyptian and Indian mythologies. These are not random labels, but deliberate markers, perhaps hinting at connections long erased from our collective memory. Picture the Grand Canyon not merely as a tourist destination, but as a labyrinth of restricted territories, where federal regulations create invisible barriers around nearly a third of its total area. These zones are off-limits to hikers, researchers, and even aircraft, justified under the guise of preserving fragile ecosystems or honoring Native American heritage. Yet, beneath such explanations lies a tapestry of speculation. What if these prohibitions safeguard something far more profound? The Forbidden Zone, often referred to in hushed tones by conspiracy circles, encompasses remote plateaus and canyons named after deities from ancient Egypt and India. These appellations were bestowed in the late 19th century by geologist Clarence Dutton, a man whose surveys for the United States Geological Survey painted the canyon with exotic hues. Dutton claimed inspiration from the formation's grandeur, likening them to the temples and pyramids of old civilizations. But was this poetic flair, or did he uncover clues to a deeper truth during his expeditions? Let us begin our descent with the Isis Temple, a towering bee that dominates the northern reaches of the canyon, its layered red and brown strata evoking the flowing robes of the Egyptian goddess herself. Isis, revered as the mother of magic and protector of the dead, symbolizes resurrection and hidden wisdom in Nile Valley law. In the Grand Canyon, this formation stands sentinel over a rugged terrain where access is strictly controlled with permits rarely granted and surveillance ensuring compliance. Enthusiasts of esoteric theories propose that the name is no coincidence. Perhaps Dutton sensed an energy vortex here, a place where the veil between worlds thins. Reports from daring souls who have skirted the edges describe unexplained phenomena. Compasses spinning wildly, sudden temperature drops, and fleeting visions of shadowy figures reminiscent of ancient priestesses. Could the Isis temple conceal subterranean passages leading to ritual chambers where long ago ceremonies invoked cosmic forces? Indigenous stories from the Hopi people who have inhabited the region for millennia speak of emergence points, portals from which their ancestors climbed out of underground realms after cataclysmic floods. The Hopi call these seppuku sacred holes connecting the underworld to the surface. And some traditions place such a gateway near formations like this one, suggesting a shared mythological heritage that spans oceans. Not far from Isis rises the Osiris Temple, named for the god of the afterlife, whose dismembered body was reassembled by Isis in Egyptian myth. This imposing structure with its jagged peaks piercing the sky forms part of a cluster that theorists dubbed the Egyptian quarter of the Forbidden Zone. Osiris represents renewal through death, a theme that resonates with the canyon's own violent birth from tectonic upheavals and relentless erosion. But whispers persist that beneath its base lie hidden pyramids, not the eroded remnants of natural rock, but constructed edifices camouflaged by time. Satellite imagery enthusiasts pore over grainy photos, claiming to spot geometric anomalies that defy geological explanations such as aligned shadows hinting at buried structures. One might wonder, would the National Park Service designate this area as a no-fly zone, prohibiting even low-altitude drones? Some speculate it's to prevent accidental revelations like those allegedly made by pilots in the mid-century who reported glimpsing metallic glints or unnatural symmetries from above. Linking back to Hopi narratives, their legends describe a time when star beings descended, imparting knowledge in hidden caverns near such sites. Osiris as a resurrected king could symbolize these celestial visitors, guardians of forbidden wisdom that modern authorities deemed too disruptive to expose. Venturing eastward, we encounter the Tower of Set, a stark spire evoking the chaotic Egyptian god of storms and foreigners, often depicted as a destructive force. Set's domain in mythology involves upheaval and the unknown, mirroring the canyon's unpredictable weather patterns and seismic history. This tower, perched on a precarious ledge, overlooks vast expanses where entry requires special authorization from multiple agencies, including the Bureau of Land Management. Conspiracy narratives swirl around it, positing that the name alludes to ancient battles etched into the rock, perhaps petroglyphs, depicting conflicts between gods or extraterrestrial entities. Explorers who have petitioned for access share tales of denied requests followed by cryptic warnings about sensitive archaeological features. Intriguingly, the Hopi speak of a great deluge that reshaped the world with survivors emerging from refuges guarded by powerful spirits. Could the Tower of Set mark one such refuge? A place where chaotic energies converge, creating what some call dimensional rifts. Modern accounts from park rangers leaked in anonymous forums describe eerie lights dancing around the tower during solstices, fueling ideas of active portals that connect to parallel realities or ancient star systems, shifting our gaze to the Indian influences. The Shiva temple emerges as a colossal plateau named after the Hindu destroyer and transformer part of the Trim alongside Brahma and Vishnu. Shiva's dance of creation and destruction parallels the canyon's formation through fire, water, and wind over eons. This temple, broad and isolated, sits within a zone where even scientific expeditions face bureaucratic hurdles, ostensibly to protect endangered species like the California condor. Yet, the name sparks curiosity. Why invoke a deity from the Indian subcontinent in the American Southwest? Proponents of ancient astronaut theories suggest transcontinental migrations or visitations where Vedic knowledge influenced early inhabitants. The plateau's flat top, visible from afar, has been likened to a landing pad for aerial craft in speculative literature, with alleged sightings of unidentified flying objects hovering nearby dating back to the 1950s. Hopi elders recount stories of the Kachasina spirit beings who descended from the skies teaching agriculture and rituals in times of need. Shiva as a cosmic dancer might embody these Kachuna, with the temple serving as a sacred stage for their manifestations. Unauthorized trekkers who have approached report disorienting hums emanating from the ground as if the earth itself resonates with forgotten frequencies. Nearby looms the Vishnu temple honoring the Hindu preserver whose avatars maintain cosmic order. This formation with its serene balanced profile contrasts the destructive essence of Shiva embodying harmony amid chaos. Access to its vicinity is limited with trails abruptly ending at warning signs. Theorists connect it to ley lines, hypothetical energy grids crisscrossing the planet, proposing that the Grand Canyon's forbidden zone aligns with global power spots like the pyramids of Giza or the temples of Angkor. What? Perhaps Dutton, influenced by theosophical ideas popular in his era, named it to hint at this network. Hopi cosmology includes cycles of worlds, with the current fourth world emerging after the destruction of previous ones. Vishnu's role as sustainer echoes this perpetual renewal. Some claim crystal deposits beneath the temple amplify psychic energies, drawing seekers who experience vivid dreams or visions upon proximity. What secrets might lie in unexplored crevices here? Relics of a unified ancient wisdom that bridged east and west. The Brahma temple completes the Hindu triad named for the creator god, its multifaceted peaks suggesting infinite possibilities. Situated in a deeply restricted corridor, this site intertwines with tales of hidden oases and lost rivers where water sources vanish into the rock only to reappear miles away. Brahma's creative force might symbolize the canyon's own genesis, but esoteric interpreters see it as a beacon for alchemical transformations, places where base elements transmute into enlightenment. Indigenous Zori and Navajo legends, akin to Hopi ones, describe underworld journeys where heroes encounter creator spirits emerging transformed. Could these temples form a symbolic mandala, a map to enlightenment concealed in plain sight? Reports of magnetic anomalies around Brahma fuel ideas of technological artifacts buried deep, perhaps anti-gravity devices from a forgotten era. Interwoven throughout these landmarks are the profound legends of the Hopi, whose oral histories paint the Grand Canyon as a living entity riddled with entrances to inner earth realms. The Hopi believe in multiple worlds stacked like layers, with humanity ascending through them via sacred portals. They're ant people, insectite guardians, sheltered ancestors in underground cities during apocalyptic events, teaching survival skills before guiding them to the surface. Many such emergent sites align with the forbidden zone's named formations, suggesting that Egyptian and Indian labels overlay indigenous truths. Why then the prohibitions? Skeptics argue conservation, but others point to government black sites or retrieval operations for anomalous artifacts. Leaked documents from the 1980s allegedly detail military incursions into these areas, recovering items that defy carbon dating. As we ponder these enigmas, consider the broader implications. If the Forbidden Zone harbors gateways to other dimensions or echoes of global civilizations, what does that mean for our understanding of history? The names Isis, Osiris, Set, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma serve as clues, breadcrumbs left by those who knew more than they revealed. Modern technology, from ground-penetrating radar to quantum sensors, could unveil these secrets. Yet access remains denied. Perhaps the true forbidden aspect is the knowledge itself, capable of appending societal structures. And speaking of connections, where are you listening from tonight? Dear travelers, is it a bustling city or a quiet desert under the same stars that light the Grand Canyon? What hour does your clock show as these ancient names whisper through your mind? Our odyssey through the Grand Canyon's veiled domains continues to unfold, with each name unlocking new layers of intrigue. As the night deepens, let these ancient echoes guide your thoughts towards slumber, pondering the invisible lines that connect us to forgotten worlds. Tonight, we chase shadows that defy gravity and logic, probing the whispers of extraterrestrial origins woven into the canyon's very fabric. What if the chasm's jagged depths conceal not just eroded rock, but gateways to other worlds? What if the river's relentless carve masks the handiwork of visitors from beyond our solar system? Lean back. Let your mind wander these precipices as we sift through sightings, speculations, and secrets that have lingered for decades. Our pursuit begins with the flicker of lights in the 952nd, an era when the Cold War's paranoia blended seamlessly with the dawn of UFO fervor. Reports trickled in from remote corners of the Grand Canyon, where rangers and hikers alike recounted strange illuminations dancing over the abyss. Eyewitnesses described orbs of ethereal blue and green hovering silently above the Colorado River, defying the laws of aerodynamics as they zipped between cliffs with impossible agility. One account from a park geologist in 1952 detailed a formation of 3 luminous disks emerging from a hidden crevice near Phantom Ranch, ascending vertically before vanishing into the starfield. These weren't mere reflections off the canyon walls or mièges born of desert heat. They pulsed with an inner rhythm, as if alive, intelligent. Skeptics dismissed them as military flares from nearby bases. But those who witnessed them spoke of a profound unease, a sense that something watchful peered back from the void. As the decades unfolded, the canyon's allure for the otherworldly only intensified. In the 972nd, a surge of sightings coincided with broader UFO waves across the Southwest. Backpackers near Bright Angel Trail reported a massive triangular craft gliding soundlessly overhead, its underside etched with unfamiliar symbols that glowed faintly against the night. One group camping in a secluded alcove claimed their fire extinguished abruptly as a low hum vibrated through the ground, followed by the appearance of a saucer-shaped object that scanned the area with beams of light before retreating into a fog-shrouded ravine. These encounters weren't isolated. They formed patterns clustering around restricted zones where the terrain drops into uncharted depths. Authors like Preston Dennett in his exhaustive chronicle UFOs over Arizona cataloged dozens of such incidents, painting the Grand Canyon as a hot spot where extraterrestrial craft seemed to emerge from or vanish into the Earth itself. Dennett's research highlights how Arizona, dubbed the Grand Canyon State, has logged over a century of unexplained aerial phenomena. From the Paradise Valley crash in the 942nd to the infamous Phoenix Lights of 997, where thousands witnessed a V-shaped formation stretching miles across the sky. Events that ripple outward from the canyon's epicenter. But why here? Theorists posit that the Grand Canyon's formation holds clues to an alien genesis, challenging the geological narrative of gradual erosion by wind and water. Imagine for a moment that this colossal scar on the planet's surface wasn't solely sculpted by natural forces over 6 million years, but accelerated or even initiated by extraterrestrial intervention. Some speculate a massive energy beam from an ancient spacecraft cleaved the land, perhaps during a mining operation for rare minerals embedded in the Precambrian rocks. The canyon's layers, exposing nearly 2 billion years of Earth's history, reveal anomalies like the Great Unconformity, a billion-year gap in the sedimentary record that defies easy explanation. Could this void represent a cataclysmic event triggered by alien technology, wiping clean a chapter of prehistory? Proponents draw parallels to lunar craters or Martian canyons, suggesting the Grand Canyon mirrors extraterrestrial landscapes engineered as a terrestrial analog for off-world visitors. Delving deeper, conspiracy circles buzz with tales of hidden UFO bases nestled in the canyon's labyrinthine caves and fissures. Whispers of a subterranean facility beneath the south rim suggest a joint human-alien operation, akin to the infamous Dulce base in nearby New Mexico. There, legends speak of underground levels where gray-skinned entities conduct genetic experiments, blending human DNA with cosmic strains. Eyewitnesses from the canyon echo similar motifs. In 1983, a former park employee alleged stumbling upon a sealed tunnel entrance guarded by unmarked vehicles from which emanated a metallic whine and the scent of ozone. He claimed glimpses of elongated figures in metallic suits before being warned away by men in black attire. Such stories align with broader narratives from whistleblowers like Paul Benowitz, who in the 972nd intercepted signals he believed originated from alien installations in the southwest, including coordinates overlapping the Grand Canyon's coordinates. Modern technology has amplified these enigmas. In October 2022, satellite imagery from Google Earth ignited global speculation when users spotted what appeared to be a massive doorway embedded in a sheer cliff face roughly 42 miles upriver from known tourist spots. Measuring hundreds of feet tall, this rectangular anomaly dubbed an alien portal sparked debates. Was it a natural shadow play or an engineered gateway camouflaged by eons of dust? Enthusiasts like Wayne Wells, who first publicized the find, argued it aligned with indigenous prophecies of star people descending through earthly thresholds. Subsequent drone footage, though restricted by no-fly zones, captured fleeting anomalies. Unexplained energy readings spiking near lava tubes where thermal cameras detected heat signatures inconsistent with geological activity. Could these be exhaust vents from an underground hangar, housing craft that traverse dimensions? Intertwined with these theories are the ancient voices of Native American tribes whose law infuses the canyon with celestial significance. The Hopi, guardians of the land for millennia, recount the Kakaina spirit beings from the stars who arrived in flying shields to guide humanity through cycles of destruction and rebirth. Their petroglyphs etched into canyon walls depict disc-like objects and humanoid figures with elongated heads. Interpretations varying from deities to extraterrestrial envoys. Navajo stories speak of sky gods emerging from the depths during times of upheaval, imparting knowledge of agriculture and healing. These narratives resonate with ancient alien hypotheses, suggesting the canyon served as a contact zone where visitors from Orion or the Plets interacted with early humans, perhaps engineering genetic uplifts or leaving behind artifacts now buried under sediment. The Zori too describe underworld portals guarded by ant-like beings echoing global myths of subterranean extraterrestrials. As we navigate these currents, consider the energy anomalies that persist. Vortex sites near Sedona, just a stone's throw from the canyon's southern edge, are famed for their magnetic distortions and reported time slips places where compasses fail, and visitors experience visions of other realms. Theorists link these to a network of ley lines converging in the Grand Canyon, amplifying cosmic energies that attract UFO activity. In 2016, a conference in Dulce drew ufologists who shared radar data purportedly showing unidentified objects diving into the canyon at hypersonic speeds only to reemerge hours later. Such evidence, though anecdotal, fuels speculation of refueling stations or observation posts, monitoring human progress, or perhaps intervening in our nuclear folly, as sightings spiked during the atomic tests of the 952nd. Yet, amid the intrigue, questions loom, like the canyon's shadowed rims. If extraterrestrial bases exist, what purpose do they serve? Are they benevolent observatories studying our evolution as one might watch ants in a terrarium? Or do they harbor darker intents? As abduction tales from the region imply, accounts from the 992nd describe hikers vanishing briefly, returning with fragmented memories of sterile chambers and probing lights. Echoes of the Travis Walton abduction in Arizona's White Mountains, where a logger was taken aboard a craft for 5 days. Walton's story, immortalized in film, underscores the Southwest's role as a UFO corridor with the Grand Canyon as its enigmatic heart. In recent years, the veil thins further. Whistleblowers from programs like the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program hint at recovered materials from crash sites near the canyon, exhibiting properties defying physics metals that morph under heat or levitate in magnetic fields. David Grush, a former intelligence officer, testified in 2023 about non-human biologics retrieved from such incidents, sparking renewed scrutiny of Arizona's skies. Social media abounds with fresh footage. In 2024, a viral video captured a fleet of orbs weaving through monsoon storms over the North Rim. their synchronized maneuvers baffling experts. As our minds drift towards slumber, ponder the Grand Canyon's dual nature, a monument to earthly patience, yet a potential bridge to the stars. What secrets pulse beneath its strata, waiting for the right moment to surface? In the quiet hours, when the wind whispers through the pines, one might almost hear the hum of distant engines, calling us to look upward and inward. Rest now, but carry this curiosity into your dreams, for the universe may yet reveal its hand. What if the canyon's vastness was once home to races of immense stature, their footprints etched into myth and memory? What secrets might the earth have swallowed, only to tease us with fragments that spark endless wonder? Let us first immerse ourselves in the rich oral traditions of the Hopi people, stewards of the Southwest, whose stories pulse with the rhythm of the land. The Hopi, whose name means peaceful people, view the Grand Canyon as a sacred corridor, a place of emergence from lower worlds into this, the fourth world of their cosmology. Within their legends, colossal beings appear not as mere monsters, but as pivotal actors in the drama of creation and catastrophe. One such tale speaks of the Power Moo or Bean Dance ceremony, which commemorates the Katsanam spirit messengers who once walked among humans in forms both benevolent and formidable. Some interpretations whisper of early Katsum manifesting as giants, towering figures who shaped the mesas with their hands and taught the Hopi the arts of survival during times of drought and upheaval. These giants, born from the stars or the earth's womb, were said to have retreated into the canyon's depths after guiding humanity, leaving behind petroglyphs that depict elongated humanoids with outsized limbs, their heads crowned by what could be antlers or antennae. Intriguingly, Hopi elders recount variants where these giant guardians clashed with darker entities, shadowy colossi, who devoured resources and disrupted harmony. In one narrative passed down through generations, a great flood engineered by the creator Taioa submerged a previous world overrun by such behemoths, forcing survivors to seek refuge in underground casts mirrored by the canyon's caves. The giant's bones, according to some tellings, fused with the rock, becoming the very strata we marvel at today. This isn't idle folklore. Archaeologists have uncovered oversized tools and footprints in nearby ruins like those at Wupaki National Monument, where impressions suggest feet far larger than modern averages. Could these be relics of the Hopi's ancient mentors or evidence of a lost race that predated human settlement? The canyon's isolation amplifies such questions as restricted areas near Hopi sacred sites. Places like the Sipu, a mythical emergence point, remain veiled, fueling speculation that excavations might unearth skeletal proof. Turning our gaze to the Navajo, whose vast reservation encircles parts of the canyon, their mythology brim with encounters that evoke gigantic presences. The Navajo hero twins, monster slayer and born for water, are central heroes who battled the Ania, terrifying adversaries born of chaos. Among these, the big monster or Yesaw stands out as a colossal cannibalistic giant, his body armored in flint, roaming the landscapes that would become the Southwest. Legends describe him as so immense that his strides shook the earth, creating chasms akin to the canyon's rifts. The twins, armed with lightning arrows from their father, the sun, slew this beast near what is now Mount Taylor, but echoes of similar giants persist in tales tied directly to the Grand Canyon. Navajo storytellers speak of the stalking giant, a red-haired colossus who lurked in the shadows of the Colorado River, preying on wanderers until outwitted by clever shamans who lured him into a trap of quicksand-like mud. These narratives intersect with broader Paiute influences as the Paiute neighbors to the Navajo preserve the legend of the Sakar red-haired giants who inhabited caves in what is now Nevada, but whose domain extended southward toward the canyon. According to Paiute history, these cannibals stood over 10 foot tall with pale skin and fiery locks. wearing against tribes until defeated in a fiery battle at Lovelock Cave in 1911, where guano miners unearthed oversized skeletons and artifacts. Though Lovelock lies north, modern theorists link these giants to migratory paths through the Grand Canyon, suggesting underground networks connected distant sites. Recent investigations in 2024, as reported by archaeologists probing Nevada's caves, reignited interest when ground-penetrating radar detected anomalies consistent with large burial chambers, prompting whispers that similar scans in the canyon could reveal parallel finds. The Navajo, ever pragmatic in their law, warned that disturbing such remnants invites Yab chase spirit, disturbances that manifest as eerie howls or unexplained rockfalls. Experiences shared by contemporary hikers who venture off-trail as European explorers encroached in the 8,002. These indigenous accounts merged with newcomer observations, birthing a hybrid mythology that tantalizes to this day. John Wesley Powell, the one-armed Civil War veteran who led the first documented expedition down the Colorado River in 1869, noted in his journals peculiar rock art depicting humanoid figures of exaggerated proportions, which he dismissed as artistic exaggeration. Yet his team reported unearthing oversized arrowheads and stone axes too heavy for average hands. Items now housed in museums, but rarely displayed. Powell's encounters with local tribes elicited stories of ancient ones who built cliff dwellings like those at Walnut Canyon, structures with doorways tall enough for 8-foot beings. Skeptics attribute this to practical design, but proponents argue it accommodates a taller precursor race, perhaps the Anatsi, whom the Hopi claim as ancestors influenced by giant visitors. The intrigue escalates with claims of physical evidence suppressed by institutions like the Smithsonian. In the early 9,002, as the canyon drew scientific scrutiny, reports surfaced of excavations yielding skeletons measuring 7 to 9 foot tall with elongated skulls and robust builds. A 911 Arizona Gazette article, not to be confused with the 99 Egyptian cave story, detailed miners discovering a cavern near the south rim containing mummified giants clad in leather. Their remains accompanied by copper tools and woven baskets oversized for human use. The Smithsonian allegedly dispatched teams to collect these only for the finds to vanish into archives, echoing broader accusations of a giant cover-up. Declassified documents from the 922nd hint at over 1,000 such reports across North America, including canyon-adjacent sites in Utah and New Mexico where mound builders left behind bones suggesting statures up to 12 feet. Critics citing Snopes investigations label these hoaxes, but a 2022 Ancient Origins compilation catalogs verified accounts like the 891 discovery in Chittenden, Arizona of a 9-FT skeleton with artifacts now lost in transit to Washington. Recent years have amplified these echoes with fresh discoveries that keep the mystery alive. In April 2024, the New York Post highlighted renewed probes into Lovelock Cave, where anthropologists using DNA analysis on preserved hair samples found anomalies suggesting non-native genetic markers, perhaps linking to ancient Eurasian migrations or something more exotic. By March 2025, Facebook groups dedicated to unexplained phenomena buzzed with leaked photos from a Grand Canyon dig purportedly showing elongated femurs unearthed during erosion control work near Phantom Ranch, though officials dismissed them as bare bones. Independent analysts noted human-like proportions scaled up by 30%. TikTok videos from July 2025 went viral, featuring drone footage of unusual depressions in remote plateaus, interpreted as giant footprints fossilized in mudstone, with geologists debating their authenticity amid calls for restricted access. Tying these threads to biblical and global parallels heightens the curiosity. The Nephilim of Genesis, offspring of sons of God and human women, were giants who roamed the earth before the flood, their legacy invoked by theorists to explain canyon anomalies. Biblical Archaeology Society articles connect them to Canaanite Raphaim. But southwestern twists suggest transoceanic law where giants fled deluges to seek refuge in America's depths. Worldwide, from Patagonian tellure giants reported by Mellon to Irish to Arthur Dedan. Colossal beings populate myths, prompting questions. Did a global giant diaspora converge on the Grand Canyon as a final stronghold? Modern cryptozoologists link this to Bigfoot sightings with over 200 reports in the canyon since 2000 describing hairy hominids 8 to 10 foot tall. Perhaps descendants of these ancient titans. Personal accounts add a visceral layer like that of a 2019 ranger who anonymously shared encountering a massive shadow figure near the North Cobb Trail. Its eyes glowing amber before it vanished into a crevice. Such tales, corroborated by thermal imaging from unauthorized expeditions, suggest living remnants or spectral guardians. As climate change exposes new layers through erosion, what might emerge next? A 2025 study in the Journal of Archaeological Science used LIDAR to map hidden structures, revealing alignments that could be giant causeways invisible from ground level. In pondering these giants, we confront our own scale mere specks against the canyon's immensity, yet heirs to stories that expand our horizons. Do they represent forgotten ancestors, interdimensional wanderers, or metaphors for human potential? The Hopi and Navajo remind us that legends are living, evolving with each retelling, urging respect for the land's mysteries. As dawn approaches in your dreams, let these colossal shadows loom gently, inspiring awe rather than fear. Tonight, we pursue the enigmatic trail of Bigfoot and other cryptic beings said to roam the canyon's depths, their fleeting glimpses sparking tales that ignite the imagination. Are these elusive figures relics of a forgotten past, guardians of hidden secrets, or something stranger still? The Grand Canyon, with its sprawling wilderness and labyrinthine crevices, offers a perfect sanctuary for creatures that shun the light of day. Among the most persistent legends is that of Bigfoot, a towering, hairy hominid whose presence has been reported across North America, but finds a peculiar resonance here. Unlike the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, where Bigfoot is often sighted, the canyon's arid expanse might seem an unlikely home. Yet, its vastness, 446 kilometers long, up to 29 kilometers wide, and plunging over 6 kilometers deep, creates countless niches where something large, cunning, and reclusive could thrive unnoticed. The Havasupai and Halapai tribes, whose ancestral lands border the canyon, speak of a hairy man or mountain devil, a being that moves like a specter through the pines and sandstone, leaving only whispers of its passage. These stories, rooted in centuries of oral tradition, paint a creature not malevolent, but wary, a watcher of humans rather than a predator. Modern accounts bring this legend into sharper focus. Since the 972nd, music over 200 documented Bigfoot sightings have emerged from the Grand Canyon region, cataloged by groups like the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. A notable encounter occurred in 1987 near the North Rim, where a group of backpackers camping along the Cobb Trail awoke to a guttural howl unlike any known animal. As they peered into the darkness, they saw a silhouette estimated at 8 foot tall standing atop a nearby ridge, its eyes reflecting their campfire's glow. The figure vanished into the underbrush, leaving behind a trail of footprints measuring 17 in long, with a stride suggesting a creature of immense strength. Rangers dispatched to investigate found the tracks, but attributed them to a bear, despite their distinctly humanoid shape and lack of claw marks. Similar reports pepper the decades, often clustering around remote areas like the Supai village or the Tappet Creek, where dense vegetation and hidden springs create oases amid the desert. What makes these sightings so compelling is their consistency. Witnesses ranging from seasoned hikers to park biologists describe a bipedal creature covered in dark matted fur with a conical head and arms that swing low. Many report an overpowering musky odor like wet earth mixed with decay lingering in the air. In 2004, a photographer claimed to have captured blurry footage of such a being crossing a dry wash near Phantom Ranch. The grainy images showing a figure too tall and fluid to be a costumed hoaxer. Though dismissed by skeptics, the video circulated widely on platforms like YouTube, reigniting debates about what lurks in the canyon's shadows. Cryptozoologists argue that Bigfoot could be a surviving hominid, perhaps a descendant of Gigantopithecus, a massive ape known from Asian fossils, which might have migrated across ancient land bridges and adapted to the America's diverse terrains. Beyond Bigfoot, the canyon harbors tales of other cryptic entities, each adding a layer to its mystique. The Havasupai recount legends of the Stone People, humanoid figures that blend into the cliffs, moving only when unobserved. These beings, said to be as old as the rocks themselves, are believed to guard sacred springs and punish those who disrespect the land. In 1998, a Havasupai elder shared a story of encountering a stone person near Mooney Falls, a figure that appeared carved from sandstone, its eyes glowing faintly before it melted into the canyon wall. Such accounts echo global myths of elemental spirits, suggesting a connection to the canyon's spiritual energy, which some claim amplifies paranormal phenomena. New Age researchers visiting in the 2010 second reported electromagnetic spikes near these sites, using handheld devices to detect fluctuations they attribute to sentient presences within the rock. Another creature, less humanoid, but equally elusive, is the canyon chupacabra. While the chupacabra is most associated with Puerto Rico, sightings in the southwest since the 992nd describe a reptilian predator with spines along its back, blamed for livestock deaths near the canyon's rims. In 2009, a rancher on the Halapai Reservation found 3 goats drained of blood, their bodies unmarked, save for puncture wounds. Nearby, he discovered tracks resembling those of a large lizard. Unlike any native species, cryptozoologists speculate this could be a surviving dinosaurian relic, perhaps a small theropod adapted to nocturnal hunting in the canyon's rugged terrain. Though no physical evidence has been verified, social media posts from 2023 show grainy photos of a scaly creature darting across a trail near the South Cobb, prompting heated online discussions. The canyon's acoustics add another dimension to these mysteries. Hikers frequently report disembodied screams or low-frequency rumbles that seem to emanate from the earth itself. In 2015, a team of geologists studying seismic activity near the Bright Angel Fault recorded infrasound vibrations below human hearing that coincided with reports of unease and sightings of shadowy figures. Some theorize these sounds could be vocalizations from Bigfoot or other cryptids, using frequencies to communicate across vast distances. Others suggest the canyon's unique geology amplifies natural vibrations, creating auditory illusions that fuel perceptions of the supernatural. Yet, indigenous tales of singing rocks suggest these sounds have been noted for centuries, tied to spirits or beings that dwell in hidden caves. Theories abound about why the canyon might harbor such creatures. Its ecological diversity, ranging from desert scrub to coniferous forests, provides ample cover and resources. Subterranean water sources, like the roaring springs, could sustain a small population of large mammals undetected by science. Some propose that Bigfoot and its kin are interdimensional travelers, slipping through portals like those rumored in the Forbidden Zone, where magnetic anomalies disrupt compasses and watches. Others lean on evolutionary biology, suggesting relic populations of hominids or prehistoric predators survived in isolated pockets. Much like coelacanths in the ocean's depths, the canyon's restricted zones, enforced by the National Park Service, lend credence to speculation that authorities know more than they reveal, perhaps to protect endangered species or conceal evidence that challenges mainstream science. Recent events keep the mystery vibrant. In August 2024, a TikTok user posted audio of a chilling howl recorded near the Hermit Trail, which experts couldn't attribute to known wildlife. The clip, viewed over 1 million times, sparked debates on X, with users sharing similar experiences. In January 2025, a leaked report from a park ranger described finding a nest-like structure of woven branches near the Tonto platform too large and intricate for human construction. Though officially attributed to natural debris, cryptozoologists hailed it as evidence of Bigfoot's presence, comparing it to structures found in Oregon's forests. Drones, increasingly used by amateur investigators despite restrictions, have captured fleeting images of large shadows moving through slot canyons. Though poor resolution leaves room for skepticism, indigenous perspectives ground these tales in cultural reverence. The Halapai view the canyon as a living entity, its creatures part of a sacred balance. Their stories of the hairy man emphasize respect, warning that pursuing him invites misfortune. The Hopi, meanwhile, connect Bigfoot-like beings to their star ancestors, suggesting these creatures bridge the earthly and cosmic realms. These narratives resonate with global myths. Yeti in the Himalayas, Yowie in Australia, hinting at a universal archetype of the wild. Untamed humanoid. Could the Grand Canyon be a global nexus for such beings? Its ancient rocks a sanctuary for the last of their kind. As we drift towards slumber, imagine the canyon's depths alive with unseen watchers, their footsteps muffled by time. Are they flesh and blood or echoes of a world we've yet to understand? The mystery endures, inviting us to question what lurks beyond the trail's end. Good night, listeners. If these tales of elusive beings spark your curiosity, consider subscribing to Codex of the Lost and tapping that bell to stay tuned for more secrets unveiled. As twilight settles over the Grand Canyon, its ancient layers glow with secrets etched in stone, each stratum a page in Earth's unfinished manuscript. Welcome back to Codex of the Lost, where I, Mr. guide you through the shadowed corridors of time. Tonight we stand before the great unconformity, the geological enigma where 1 billion years of history vanished, leaving a gap that baffles science and ignites the imagination. Is this merely the work of relentless erosion? Or does it conceal evidence of cataclysms, ancient technologies, or even cosmic interventions? With every step along the canyon's rim, questions multiply, drawing us into a labyrinth of rock and mystery. The great unconformity is not a subtle feature. It's a dramatic rupture in the geological record, visible to the naked eye, where the canyon's walls expose a jarring discontinuity. Imagine standing at the south rim, gazing at the Tarpet Sandstone, a layer formed roughly 525 million years ago during the Cambrian period. Beneath it lies the Vishnu Schist, a metamorphic rock dating back 1.7 billion years. Between these two, an incomprehensible span up to 1.2 billion years of Earth's history is simply gone. This missing chapter, first noted by John Wesley Powell in 1869, represents a gap where rocks that should record the passage of time were either never deposited or erased by forces yet to be fully explained. Geologists call this an unconformity, a surface where younger rocks rest atop older ones with no trace of the intervening ages. But the scale of the great unconformity stretching across North America and beyond makes it a puzzle that defies tidy answers, sparking theories that range from scientific to speculative. To grasp the magnitude, consider what 1 billion years entails. It's a time frame that saw continents drift, oceans rise and fall, and life evolve from single-celled organisms to complex forms. Yet, in the Grand Canyon, this epoch is a void, as if the planet's memory was wiped clean. Mainstream science suggests erosion as the culprit, perhaps glaciers, rivers, or tectonic upheavals scoured away the missing layers before the tuffet sandstone was laid down. But the sheer scale of this erasure raises eyebrows. How could natural processes obliterate such a vast record so uniformly across thousands of miles? The canyon's exposure of this anomaly, one of the clearest in the world, makes it a focal point for geologists and theorists alike, each seeking to decode the silence of the stones. Let's begin with the scientific narrative, which paints a picture of a restless Earth reshaping itself. During the late Precambrian, around 1 billion years ago, the Suppic continent Rodinia was forming, its tectonic convulsions buckling the crust. Some geologists propose that this upheaval lifted the region, exposing it to relentless erosion by wind, rain, and possibly ice sheets. By the time the Cambrian seas advanced, depositing the tar pit sandstone, the older rocks had been worn down to a flat surface, creating the unconformity. Studies published in Nature Geoscience in 2023 suggest that a global snowball Earth event where the planet froze over multiple times between 720 and 635 million years ago could have contributed. Glaciers grinding across the landscape might have scraped away hundreds of millions of years' worth of sediment, leaving the Vishnu schist exposed. Yet even this theory struggles to account for the uniformity of the gap, as glacial action tends to be patchy, not precise. This scientific uncertainty opens the door to bolder speculations, ones that resonate with the listeners of Codex of the Lost. Alternative researchers argue that the great unconformity might reflect a cataclysm far beyond natural erosion, a cosmic or technological event that reshaped the planet. One theory points to a massive meteor impact akin to the one that ended the dinosaurs but far older. The Chicxulub crater in Mexico, dated to 66 million years ago, pales in comparison to the scale needed to erase a billion years across continents. However, some propose an ancient impact or series of impacts around 1 billion years ago, vaporizing or displacing vast swaths of crust. In 2024, a team from the University of Colorado reported tantalizing evidence in the journal Icarus. Microscopic zircon crystals in the Vishnu schist showing shock patterns consistent with extreme pressure, possibly from a cosmic collision. Could such an event have obliterated the missing layers, leaving the canyon as a scar of celestial violence? Taking this further, some fringe theorists suggest extraterrestrial engineering. As explored in earlier episodes, the Grand Canyon's formation might involve alien influence, perhaps a mining operation or energy beam. The great unconformity could be a byproduct. Imagine advanced beings harvesting minerals like uranium or quartz abundant in the canyon's basement rocks, using technology that obliterated intervening strata. The uniformity of the unconformity stretching from Canada to Arizona might hint at a deliberate act, not random nature. Online forums like those on X in 2025 buzz with speculation that the canyon was a testing ground for interstellar terraforming, its layers stripped to create a stable platform for unknown purposes. While lacking hard evidence, these ideas draw fuel from anomalies like the aforementioned zircon crystals and magnetic disturbances near the unconformity's boundary, which defy standard geological models. Indigenous perspectives add a profound dimension, weaving the unconformity into spiritual narratives. The Hopi, whose cosmology frames the canyon as a birthplace of worlds, describe a time when the third world ended in chaos, its surface scoured by divine forces to prepare for the fourth world we now inhabit. Their stories of Taya, the creator, and Sodakang, his enforcer, suggest a deliberate cleansing of the earth, perhaps mirrored in the geological gap. The Navajo too speak of a great upheaval where monsters and imbalances were swept away, leaving the land reborn. These tales, while symbolic, resonate with the physical reality of the unconformity, prompting questions. Did ancient storytellers encode memories of a real event? Flood, fire, or cosmic strike that science has yet to fully grasp. Another layer of intrigue emerges from reports of artifacts found near the unconformities interface. In the 1.90-second amateur prospectors claimed to discover metallic fragments embedded in the Tapiat sandstone, described as unnaturally smooth and resistant to corrosion. These were allegedly confiscated by federal agents, echoing the Smithsonian cover-up narratives from our earlier explorations. More recently, in 2023, a leaked post on a now-deleted Reddit thread detailed a hiker finding a crystalline object near the Bright Angel Trail, its facets glowing faintly under UV light. The object vanished after being reported to park authorities, fueling speculation of advanced technology, perhaps remnants of a civilization or alien presence that operated during the missing billion years. Such claims, though unverified, align with broader theories of a lost epoch where beings with advanced knowledge shaped the planet before vanishing, their traces erased by the unconformity. The canyon's restricted zones, as discussed previously, amplify these mysteries. Many areas where the great unconformity is most pronounced, like the inner gorge near Granite Rapid, are off-limits with rangers citing safety or cultural sensitivity. Yet whispers persist of classified surveys conducted by the U.S. Geological Survey in the 1.982 using ground-penetrating radar to map cavities beneath the unconformity. Alleged whistleblowers speaking anonymously on platforms like X in 2024 claimed these scans revealed hollows too regular to be natural, suggesting artificial chambers or collapsed structures. Could these be the remnants of a subterranean civilization, its history obliterated by the same event that created the unconformity? The Hope's tales of underground cities where their ancestors sheltered during cataclysms lend cultural weight to such ideas. Bridging myth and possibility. Modern science continues to probe the enigma. In February 2025, a study in geology proposed that the unconformity resulted from a combination of tectonic uplift and extreme climate shifts with subex continents like Rodinia amplifying erosion. Yet the study admitted gaps in the data, particularly why similar unconformities appear globally from Australia's outback to Brazil's shield regions. This global footprint fuels speculation of a synchronized event, perhaps a pole shift or magnetic reversal that destabilized the crust. Paranormal researchers go further, suggesting the unconformity marks a temporal anomaly, a place where time itself was disrupted, erasing evidence of advanced societies or extraterrestrial bases. Hikers near the unconformity's exposure often report disorientation, watches stopping, or vivid dreams of ancient landscapes, as if the rocks retain echoes of their lost era. As we stand at the edge of these forbidden hollows, the Grand Canyon reveals itself as more than a monument to time. It's a vault of unanswered questions. Do its caves shelter relics of lost worlds guarded by forces both human and beyond? The silence of the restricted zone speaks louder than any official statement, urging us to imagine what lies hidden. And as you listen to these ancient riddles, where are you tuning in from tonight? Perhaps a cozy room far from the canyon's cliffs, or maybe you're closer to its wild heart. What time is it there? As the stars align over Arizona, as sleep draws near, let these tales weave through your dreams, where the canyon's vortexes might guide you to hidden truths. Next, we'll explore the forbidden caves and their guarded mysteries, where the canyon's heart beats with untold stories. For now, rest in the enigma's embrace. Mr. Wishing you peaceful slumber. Are these hidden hollows mere geological curiosities? Or do they conceal relics of lost civilizations, military secrets, or portals to realms beyond our own? The Grand Canyon is a colossus of natural wonder, its cliffs and gorges stretching across 446 kilometers with depths plunging over 1.6 kilometers. Within this immensity lie an estimated 1,000 caves, most unexplored, their entrances tucked into sheer walls or concealed by tailor slopes. Only a fraction, perhaps 300, have been documented by the National Park Service, and even fewer are accessible to the public. The rest fall within restricted zones, vast swaths of the canyon where entry is prohibited, ostensibly to protect fragile ecosystems, Native American sacred sites, or archaeological treasures. These areas spanning nearly a third of the park are patrolled with a vigilance that sparks suspicion. Why such stringent measures for mere caves? What lies within these forbidden hollows that demands such secrecy? The answers, or lack thereof, have fueled decades of speculation, weaving a tapestry of mystery that captivates adventurers and theorists alike. Let us begin with the caves themselves, natural wonders formed by millennia of water seeping through limestone, carving out chambers that range from claustrophobic tunnels to cathedral-like caverns. The most famous, like the Cave of the Domes or Stanton's Cave, are accessible with permits, revealing stalactites and ancient bat guano. But others hidden in the restricted zones remain off-limits, their locations vaguely noted on maps with cryptic labels like sensitive area. One such site lies near the confluence of the Little Colorado and Colorado rivers, a region sacred to the Hopi and Navajo. Here, rumors persist of a massive cavern system, its entrance sealed by concrete in the 962nd after an alleged government expedition. Local lore shared in hushed tones by river guides tells of rangers encountering artifacts within pottery shards, metallic fragments, and carvings that define known cultural origins. By 2025, posts on X have amplified these tales, with users claiming drone footage captured sealed entrances glowing faintly at night, suggesting active use or energy sources within. The Hopi offer a cultural lens that deepens the enigma. Their cosmology describes the Grand Canyon as a nexus of Saipu sacred portals connecting this world to subterranean realms where ancestors dwelled during cosmic upheavals. One such Sipu, said to lie near the restricted Supai village, is believed to guard an underground city, its chambers filled with relics of the ant people, insect-like beings who sheltered humanity during ancient cataclysms. These stories resonate with reports from the 982nd, when unauthorized explorers claimed to have stumbled upon a cave in the Supai region containing petroglyphs of humanoid figures with elongated limbs and star-like symbols. Before they could document their find, they were escorted out by armed rangers, their cameras confiscated. Such incidents, though unverified, fuel theories that the government conceals evidence of advanced cultures or non-human entities within these caves. Restricted zones extend beyond caves to include entire plateaus and river corridors, like the area around the Anatsi Bridge, a natural rock formation revered by the Hopi as a gateway to the spirit world. Access here requires special permits, rarely granted, and aerial surveillance ensures compliance. In 2019, a whistleblower on a now archived Reddit thread claimed to have worked on a classified survey near the bridge using sonar to detect vast hollows beneath the surface. The data, he alleged, revealed structures too regular to be natural, possibly collapsed chambers or tunnels engineered with precision. Before the findings could be publicized, the project was abruptly halted and team members reassigned. This aligns with broader claims of military involvement, with some theorists suggesting the restricted zones house covert bases perhaps linked to extraterrestrial technology or Cold War experiments. A 2023 X post referenced declassified documents from the 972nd, hinting at DARPA-funded explorations in the canyon. Though details remain heavily redacted, the intrigue intensifies with tales of vanished explorers. The Grand Canyon has long been a graveyard for the reckless, with over 700 recorded deaths since the 8002nd, many attributed to falls or dehydration, but some disappearances defy explanation, particularly in restricted areas. In 1993, a seasoned caver named Daniel Walsh vanished while mapping an off-limits cave near Marble Canyon. His gear was found intact, but no trace of him emerged. Despite extensive searches, locals whispered of a swallowing cave, a term echoed in Navajo stories of portals that consume intruders. Similar cases dot the record. A 2007 incident where a group of college students strayed into a restricted zone near Havasu Creek only to return disoriented with no memory of 3 hours. A 2015 report of a solo hiker spotted entering a cave near the North Rim, never to re-emerge. These stories amplified on platforms like TikTok in 2024 suggest something beyond natural hazards. Perhaps temporal distortions or traps set by unseen guardians. Conspiracy circles weave these threads into grand narratives. Some posit that the restricted zones conceal entrances to inner Earth, a hypothetical realm where advanced civilizations or ancient species survive. The hollow earth theory, popularized by 19th-century writers like John Cleave Sims, finds new life in canyon law with caves as gateways to subterranean cities. Others speculate about military installations, citing sightings of unmarked helicopters and black SUVs near restricted entrances. A 2022 YouTube documentary claimed that Area 51, located just 200 m away, extends its operations into the canyon using caves to store recovered UFO wreckage or conduct reverse engineering experiments. While lacking concrete proof, these ideas gain traction from the government's opaque handling of the region, with Freedom of Information Act requests yielding only vague responses. The sacred sites of Native American tribes add a spiritual dimension. The Halapai regard certain caves as homes to ancestral spirits, warning that disturbance invites curses. In 2018, a Halapai elder recounted a childhood memory of hearing chants emanating from a sealed cave near Peach Springs, accompanied by flickering lights that moved without source. Such accounts align with paranormal investigations like those conducted by the Arizona Paranormal Society in 2021, which recorded electromagnetic spikes and infrasound in restricted zones, suggesting unseen presences or residual energies. These findings echo global myths of caved-dwelling entities, from the Greek oracle at Delphi to Tibetan tales of hidden yogis, prompting questions. Are the canyons' caves liminal spaces where the physical and metaphysical converge? Recent technology has only deepened the mystery. In March 2025, a team of independent researchers used LiDAR to map a restricted area near the Toro Overlook, detecting cavities that align with Hopi descriptions of underground caverns. The scans, shared briefly on X before being removed, suggested chambers with symmetrical features, unlike natural cast formations. Meanwhile, satellite imagery from 2024 revealed heat signatures in remote caves inconsistent with geological activity, prompting speculation of active machinery or energy sources. These discoveries, though controversial, keep the public's curiosity alive, with online communities demanding transparency from park authorities. Do its caves shelter relics of lost worlds guarded by forces both human and beyond? The silence of the restricted zones speaks louder than any official statement, urging us to imagine what lies hidden. We venture into the chilling tales of vanishings, hikers, explorers, and seekers who stepped into the canyon's embrace and never returned, and the tantalizing notion of portals or vortexes that might explain their fates. Are these disappearances mere accidents of a harsh landscape? Or do they hint at gateways to other dimensions where time and space bend under the weight of ancient forces? The Grand Canyon, with its sprawling 446 kilometers of rugged terrain and depths plunging over 1.6 kilometers, is a place where nature commands respect. Since its designation as a national park in 1919, over 700 deaths have been recorded. Falls, dehydration, flash floods. But some vanishings defy such explanations, leaving behind questions that linger like mist in the gorges. The National Park Service maintains meticulous records, yet certain cases remain shrouded in ambiguity, fueling speculation that the canyon harbors more than natural perils. From seasoned adventurers to casual tourists, Those who disappear often share one trait. They ventured into remote or restricted areas, places where the canyon's energy feels palpably different, as if the air itself hums with secrets. One of the most haunting cases dates to 1933 when Glenn and Bessie Hyde, a newlywed couple, embarked on a daring honeymoon journey to navigate the Colorado River by boat. They were last seen near mile 232, a remote stretch of the inner gorge, before vanishing without a trace. Their scow was found intact, fully stocked with supplies, but the hides were gone. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just an eerie absence. Search teams scoured the area, but the canyon offered no clues. Decades later, in the 972nd, a river guide claimed to find a skeleton clutching a journal near Diamond Creek. But it vanished before verification. Theories abound. Did the hides fall victim to rapids? Or did they stumble into a hidden crevice? Some whisper of a vortex, a place where the canyon's fabric thins, swallowing them into another realm. Hopi legends speak of such places or emergence points where one might cross into the underworld or beyond, never to return. Fast forward to 996 when a solo hiker named Alicia Stanton, an experienced outdoors woman, disappeared near the H Rapid. Stanton, known for her meticulous planning, left a detailed itinerary but failed to check in at her scheduled campsite. Rangers found her backpack untouched near a narrow slot canyon, but tracks ended abruptly as if she'd been lifted from the earth. Witnesses camping nearby reported a low hum and a fleeting shimmer in the air that night, dismissed as heat distortion, but later cited in paranormal circles as evidence of a portal. Stanton's case remains open, with online forums like those on X in 2024 speculating that she crossed a temporal threshold. A theory bolstered by similar vanishings in vortex-heavy regions like Sedona, just 100 miles south, where magnetic anomalies and reported time slips are well documented. These stories aren't isolated. The Grand Canyon has a peculiar history of group disappearances. 2. In 1958, a Boy Scout troop exploring the North Rim vanished for 48 hours, only to re-emerge disoriented, claiming they'd wandered in a fog-filled canyon where their watches stopped. They described hearing whispers in an unknown language and seeing faint lights dancing in the distance. Rangers attributed it to dehydration, but the scouts' consistent accounts corroborated independently hinted at something stranger. A 2023 post on Reddit, Our Missing 411 community, revisited this case, noting its proximity to a restricted zone near the Isis temple, where electromagnetic spikes have been recorded. The Missing 411 phenomenon, popularized by David Polites, catalogs such vanishings in national parks, often near granite formations or water sources, suggesting the canyon's geology might amplify otherworldly energies. The concept of portals or vortexes gains traction from both science and law. Geologically, the canyon's layers, from the 17-billion-year-old Vishnu schist to the 525-million-year-old Tapit sandstone, create a unique electromagnetic environment. Quartz and magnetite deposits abundant in the basement rocks can generate zooelectric effects under pressure, producing faint electrical fields. In 2022, a study in Geophysical Research Letters documented unusual magnetic anomalies near the Great Unconformity, where compasses spin erratically and GPS signals falter. Paranormal researchers interpret these as signs of vortexes, points where Earth's energy converges, thinning the veil between dimensions. Sedona's famed vortex sites, linked to heightened psychic experiences, may extend into the canyon, with hotspots near the Bright Angel Trail and the Supai region. Indigenous narratives enrich this framework. The Havasupai, whose village lies deep in the canyon, speak of spirit doors in the cliffs, passages to other worlds guarded by ancestors or trickster spirits. One tale shared by an elder in a 2019 documentary describes a warrior who entered a cave near Havasu Falls and emerged years later unchanged. claiming he'd lived among star beings. The Navajo, too worn of swallowing places where the careless are pulled into realms of shadow. These stories align with global myths of liminal spaces, caves, mountains, or lakes serving as gateways. In 2025, a viral TikTok video captured a hiker's camera glitching near a restricted cave, the footage warping as if reality itself flickered, prompting speculation of a dimensional rift. Conspiracy theories weave these vanishings into darker narratives. Some claim the restricted zones hide government experiments, perhaps involving time manipulation or teleportation technology reverse-engineered from extraterrestrial sources. A 2021 X thread alleged that the Department of Defense operates a secret facility near the Torobet Overlook testing devices that create localized space-time distortions. Leaked audio purportedly from a 982nd Ranger described finding a metallic structure in a sealed cave, emitting a hum that induced nausea and memory loss. While unverified, such claims echo Area 51 law with the canyon's isolation, making it an ideal testing ground. Others point to serial killers exploiting the canyon's remoteness, like Robert Spangler, who confessed in 2000 to murdering his family in the park. Could some vanishings be human-made, covered up to avoid panic? Yet, the absence of bodies or evidence in many cases leans toward the supernatural. Recent incidents keep the mystery alive. In June 2024, a German tourist named Klaus Wierer vanished near the South Cobb Trail. His journal found days later contained frantic entries about lights in the rocks and a sensation of being pulled toward a crevice. Search drones detected no heat signatures, and the case was closed as a fall despite no body being found. Online communities erupted with some linking Werner's disappearance to a reported UFO sighting the same night captured on a Flagstaff astronomer's telescope. In January 2025, a group of amateur investigators using thermal imaging near the Anatsi Bridge claimed to detect a cold spot, a zone of inexplicable low temperature where compasses failed, suggesting a portal's presence. The footage shared on Instagram was removed after park officials cited trespassing violations, fueling accusations of a cover-up. The canyon's allure as a vortex hub extends beyond vanishings. Hikers report time anomalies. A 2020 account described a couple hiking the Tonto Trail only to find their 3-hour trek lasted 6 hours on their watches with no memory of the extra time. Such experiences mirror Bermuda Triangle stories where time and space seem malleable. The Hope's concept of the fourth world, a new reality born from destruction, suggests the canyon as a transitional space where portals open during cosmic alignments like solstices. Paranormal researchers using apps like GhostTube in 2023 recorded electronic voice phenomena near restricted caves, capturing phrases in unknown languages, hinting at lingering presences. As the Grand Canyon's twilight fades into a tapestry of stars, its cliffs stand as silent witnesses to epochs lost to time, their shadows hiding tales that defy our grasp of history. Could these buried remnants reveal a forgotten chapter of humanity? Or do they point to visitors from realms beyond our own? The notion of a lost city within the Grand Canyon stirs the imagination like few other tales. Spanning 446 kilometers and plunging over 16 kilometers. The canyon's vastness offers countless hiding places, caves, aloves, and plateaus where traces of an advanced society might lie concealed. While mainstream archaeology celebrates the ancestral Puebloans whose cliff dwellings like those at Walnut Canyon dot the landscape, whispers persist of something older, grander and deliberately obscured. These stories trace back to indigenous lore and early explorers, weaving a narrative of a subterranean or cliff-bound metropolis. Its architecture blending human ingenuity with influences that seem alien to the Americas. Unlike the Egyptian artifacts or extraterrestrial bases we've explored, this lost city evokes a vision of a thriving culture, perhaps bridging continents or eras, its remnants guarded by the canyon's inaccessibility. Central to this tale is the Hopi tradition, which speaks of a time when their ancestors emerged from a subterranean world into the fourth world we now inhabit. Their legends describe vast underground complexes, cities of stone, where the ant people benevolent guardians taught survival skills during cataclysmic upheavals. These cities, hidden beneath sacred sites like the Sipu near the Little Colorado River, were said to house intricate carvings, advanced tools, and repositories of knowledge encoded in symbols unknown to modern scholars. Hopi elders in rare interviews documented in 2020 hinted that such a city lies within a restricted zone, its entrance known only to initiated shamans. These accounts suggest a civilization with astronomical expertise aligning structures with solstices and constellations much like Stonehenge or the pyramids of Teotihuacan. Beyond indigenous law, historical accounts fuel the mystery. In the 882nd, prospectors scouring the canyon for gold reported stumbling upon cliffside ruins. Unlike the familiar PBLO in style, one journal attributed to a miner named Jacob Waltz and later published in a 1923 Arizona Historical Society bulletin described a hidden ledge near the Havasu Creek where stone walls formed a labyrinth of chambers. Waltz claimed to find polished obsidian tools, pottery with spiral motifs, and a metallic disc inscribed with star-like patterns, suggesting a culture with advanced metallurgy. Before he could lead a team back, Waltz vanished, and subsequent searches found no trace of his discovery. Skeptics dismissed this as a tall tale, but believers argue the site was sealed or reread, possibly by federal agents aware of its significance. The idea of a lost city gained traction in the early 20th century, spurred by the same 1909 Arizona Gazette article that introduced the Egyptian cave narrative. While that story focused on hieroglyphs and mummies, it also mentioned a citadel with halls and plazas, suggesting urban planning on a grand scale. Some researchers propose this was no Egyptian outpost, but a distinct civilization, perhaps a hybrid of transoceanic migrants, Phoenicians, Polynesians, or even Atlantans who settled in the canyon millennia ago. The presence of artifacts blending Egyptian, Asian, and Mesoamerican motifs, as described in the Gazette, hints at a cultural crossroads, a melting pot of ancient wisdom, though the Smithsonian allegedly suppressed these findings. Amateur archaeologists in the 2022 have scoured the canyon's restricted zones, using satellite imagery to pinpoint anomalies, rectangular shadows, or heat signatures suggesting buried structures. Recent technology has breathed new life into the search. In April 2025, a post on X shared LAR scans from an unauthorized expedition near the Toro Overlook, revealing what appeared to be a grid-like foundation beneath a collapsed mesa. The patterns, too regular for natural erosion, suggested walls or terraces, prompting speculation of a city swallowed by a landslide eons ago. While the National Park Service dismissed the scans as geological noise, the images went viral with users comparing them to Machu Picchu's hidden ruins. Drones, though banned in restricted zones, have captured fleeting glimpses of carved stone faces, some humanoid, others resembling mythic creatures etched into cliffs near the Anastasia Bridge. These carvings, reported in a 2023 YouTube expose, resemble mech heads or Easter Island moai, raising questions about transcontinental connections or shared artistic traditions. Theories of advanced technology deepen the intrigue. Some speculate the lost city housed devices that harnessed the canyon's natural energies. Quartz deposits generating zoelectric currents or magnetic fields amplified by the Great Unconformity. A 2021 study in the Journal of Earth Sciences noted unusual electromagnetic readings near the Supai Formation where restricted caves cluster. Paranormal investigators using handheld Gauss meters in 2024 detected spikes suggesting artificial sources, perhaps remnants of crystalline machinery or power grids. These findings echo myths of Atlantis, where a technologically advanced society vanished after misusing its knowledge. Could the Canyon City have met a similar fate? Its relics buried by a cataclysm that reshaped the landscape. Conspiracy narratives point to deliberate concealment. The restricted zones covering areas like the Isis Temple and Shiva Temple are patrolled with drones and rangers with trespassers facing hefty fines or detention. A 2022 whistleblower claiming to be a former park contractor alleged on a now-deleted podcast that excavations in the 992nd uncovered a chamber near the north rim containing metallic panels etched with circuit-like patterns. The site was sealed and workers sworn to secrecy under national security protocols. Such claims, while unverified, align with broader accusations against institutions like the Smithsonian, accused of hiding artifacts that challenge mainstream history. The canyon's inaccessibility, coupled with its designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, provides a convenient shield for such secrecy, limiting public scrutiny. Indigenous voices offer a spiritual counterpoint. The Halapai, whose lands border the canyon's western edge, speak of a city of the ancients, a place of learning where star beings shared wisdom before retreating into the earth. Their stories, recorded in a 2018 cultural archive, describe towers of light within caves, illuminating texts carved in stone. These resonate with Navajo tales of sky gods who built underground sanctuaries, their entrances hidden by illusions. Such myths suggest the lost city was not just a physical place, but a metaphysical hub, a nexus where human and cosmic realms converged. Modern seekers, drawn by these tales, report vivid dreams near restricted sites, envisioning bustling plazas and glowing orbs, an echo perhaps of a psychic imprint left by the city's inhabitants. Was this city a beacon of ancient ingenuity, a colony of starfarers, or a myth woven to explain the inexplicable? The silence of the stones offers no answers, only invitations to wonder. We explore the eerie tales of cursed objects and supernatural phenomena that haunt the canyon's trails and caves. Stories that pulse with an energy as old as the rocks themselves. Are these artifacts imbued with ancient malice? Or do they channel the canyon's mystical power, acting as conduits to realms unseen? For centuries, visitors have reported strange occurrences. Lights flickering without source, voices echoing in empty gorges, and an unshakable sense of being watched. But among the most chilling tales are those of objects taken from the canyon rocks. Bones or relics that seem to carry a curse, bringing misfortune to those who claim them. These stories, woven through indigenous lore and modern accounts, suggest the canyon is a sacred vault, its treasures guarded by forces that punish greed and disrespect. The Havasupai, whose village nestles in the canyon's western reaches, warn of the angry stones, rocks imbued with the spirits of ancestors or elemental beings. Their oral traditions, documented in a 2017 cultural study, tell of a trader in the 8002 who took a polished quartz crystal from a sacred spring near Supai. Within weeks, his livestock died, his crops withered, and he succumbed to a fever, muttering of voices in the stone, returning the crystal to the canyon. His family claimed restored balance. Similar stories abound. In 1995, a tourist mailed a small fossilized bone back to the National Park Service, accompanied by a letter detailing a string of accidents, car crashes, job loss, and nightmares of a shadowed figure since taking it from the Bright Angel Trail. Park rangers, accustomed to such returns, maintain a cursed object box filled with rocks and trinkets sent back by remorseful visitors, though they officially dismiss the curse as superstition. These accounts aren't mere folklore. In 2023, a Reddit thread in the Our Paranormal community compiled dozens of testimonies from hikers who experienced misfortune after pocketing canyon souvenirs. One user described finding a metallic shard near the Toro Overlook, its surface etched with unfamiliar glyphs. After taking it home, they reported electrical outages, vivid dreams of a collapsing city, and a persistent hum in their ears. Returning the shard to the canyon ended the disturbances, but not before a fire destroyed their garage. The thread, which garnered thousands of upvotes, speculated that these objects act as psychic anchors, tying their possessors to the canyon's energy, a force some linked to the vortexes discussed previously, where electromagnetic anomalies amplify spiritual connections. Beyond cursed objects, the canyon teems with supernatural phenomena that defy explanation. Hikers frequently report orbs of light blue, green, or amber darting through the air, especially near restricted zones like the Isis Temple or Havasu Falls. A 2019 report from a ranger shared anonymously on X in 2024 described a glowing sphere hovering over the Colorado River, pulsing rhythmically before vanishing into a cliff face. Unlike typical will-o-wisps, these lights move with intent, avoiding obstacles or trailing hikers before disappearing. Paranormal investigators using thermal cameras in 2022 captured heat signatures of these orbs, suggesting they emit energy inconsistent with atmospheric phenomena. Some theorize they're manifestations of ancestral spirits, while others propose they're probes from extraterrestrial intelligences monitoring the canyon's sacred sites. The sensation of being watched is another recurring theme. Backpackers on the Tonto Trail often describe an oppressive presence, as if unseen eyes track their every move. In 2021, a group camping near Granite Rapid reported hearing footsteps circling their tent, accompanied by whispers in an unintelligible language. No tracks were found, but their flashlight batteries drained inexplicably, a phenomenon noted in other high-energy zones like Sedona. The Navajo attributes such experiences to skinwalkers, malevolent shapeshifters who guard sacred places. A 2020 interview with a Navajo elder revealed a tale of a hunter who encountered a figure with glowing eyes near the Anastasia Bridge, vanishing when approached. These stories shared across generations suggest the canyon is a liminal space where the living brush against the unseen. Technology has amplified these mysteries. In January 2025, a TikTok video went viral showing a hiker's GoPro malfunctioning near a restricted cave, capturing distorted images of a translucent figure before shutting down. The clip, viewed over 2 million times, sparked debates on whether it depicted a ghost, an interdimensional entity, or a glitch. Electromagnetic field meters used by ghost hunters in 2023 detected spikes near the Cave of the Domes, correlating with reports of cold spots and disembodied voices. These anomalies align with Hopi beliefs in spirit winds, currents of energy that carry messages from other realms. A 2018 study by the Arizona Paranormal Society recorded electronic voice phenomena in the same cave, capturing phrases like "leave now" in a language resembling archaic Hopi. Though linguists couldn't confirm its origin, conspiracy theories tie these phenomena to hidden agendas. Some claim the National Park Service knows of the canyon's supernatural properties, using restricted zones to conceal sites where energy fields are strongest. A 20024X post alleged that a 982nd experiment near the North Rim tested psychotronic devices, machines designed to amplify psychic energy, resulting in unexplained lights and vanishings. While unverified, the post cited declassified memos hinting at military interest in the canyon's electromagnetic properties. Others speculate that cursed objects are fragments of ancient technology, perhaps from the lost city we explored, imbued with residual power that disrupts human lives when removed. Indigenous wisdom frames these phenomena as sacred. The Halapai speak of living rocks, stones that hum with the canyon's heartbeat, warning against disturbance. Their stories shared in a 2022 cultural festival describe caves where time slows and visions of ancestors appear. These align with modern reports of time slips, hikers losing hours without explanation. As noted in a 2023 missing 411 case near the South Cobb Trail. The interplay of science and spirituality suggests the canyon as a nexus where geological forces and metaphysical energies converge, creating a hot spot for the uncanny. And as these mysteries unfold, where are you listening from tonight? Perhaps a cozy nook far from Arizona's cliffs, or maybe closer to its haunted trails. What hour does your night hold? If these tales of spectral lights and cursed relics captivate you, I'd love for you to join our journey by subscribing and hitting the bell to catch every whisper from the canyon's depths. The Grand Canyon, a 446 kilometers labyrinth of stone and shadow, has long been a siren call for fortune hunters. Its vastness conceals countless crevices and caves, perfect hiding places for treasures rumored to lie buried since ancient times. Spanish explorers in the 16th century, led by Francisco Vázquez de Coronado, sought the fabled seven cities of Cibola, mythical realms of gold said to gleam in the southwest. While Coronado's 540 expedition found no cities, his men scoured the canyon's rims, leaving behind tales of hidden caches, gold ingots, sacred artifacts, and jewels stashed in secret grotto to evade rival conquistadors. Navajo legends recorded in a 2019 cultural archive echo these stories, speaking of shining stones guarded by spirits in cliffs near the Little Colorado River, accessible only to those deemed worthy. One enduring legend centers on the lost Spanish mine, a vein of gold supposedly discovered by a prospector named Diego Alvarez in the 7002 Alvarez, according to a 920 Arizona Historical Review account, stumbled upon a cave near the Havasu Creek filled with raw nuggets and strange metallic relics. Unlike any Spanish craft, he marked the site with a carved cross. But upon returning with a team, he vanished, leaving only his journal, which described a cursed glow emanating from the hoard. Search parties found no trace, and the mine's location remains a mystery, though treasure hunters in 2024 posted X threads claiming to have found cross-like carvings near restricted zones only to be turned back by rangers. Some speculate the government sealed the site to prevent looting, while others believe the treasure is protected by supernatural forces, tying it to the cursed objects we explored. Another tale involves the Quingade cache linked to the 99 Arizona Gazette story of an Egyptian-like city. G. King the explorer reportedly found golden idols and gem-encrusted tablets which he claimed were spirited away by the Smithsonian. A 2023 YouTube documentary suggested Kincaid hid a portion of the treasure in a secondary cave before his discovery was confiscated. Fearing its power, treasure hunters inspired by this have scoured the Marble Canyon area where King Kincaid's alleged coordinates lie. But restricted access and flash floods thwart their efforts. A 2025 TikTok video showing a metallic glint in a cliffside crevice went viral with users speculating it was part of King's lost hoard, though park officials dismissed it as mica. The fates of those who sought these treasures are as compelling as the riches themselves. In 1884, a prospector named Seth Tanner, known for blazing the Tanner Trail, disappeared while chasing rumors of a silver cache near the Colorado River. His journal, recovered by a companion, described a hidden alcove with shining walls, but ended mid-sentence, as if interrupted. No body was found, and locals whispered of a cave that swallowed him, echoing Navajo tales of spirit traps. Similarly, in 1928, a treasure hunter named Clarera Stoddard vanished near the South Rim, leaving behind a map marked with cryptic symbols resembling Hopi petroglyphs. Her disappearance sparked a brief media frenzy, but searches were curtailed when they entered a restricted zone near the Isis temple, fueling theories of government cover-ups. More recent cases keep the mystery alive. In 2003, a group of amateur archaeologists led by a man named Richard Halt set out to find the lost Anastasia hoard, a rumored collection of turquoise and gold artifacts hidden by the ancestral Pueblones. Halt's team, operating without permits, ventured into a restricted area near the Anatsi Bridge. They radioed about finding a sealed cave with glowing stones before contact was lost. Rangers later recovered their gear, but the team was gone. A 2024 exposed claimed Halt's journal surfaced on the dark web, describing a chamber with pulsating lights and a sensation of falling through time. While unverified, the story aligns with vortex theories, suggesting the explorers stumbled into a portal. Conspiracy narratives weave these vanishings into a broader tapestry. Some claim the National Park Service conceals treasures to prevent economic disruption or to protect sacred sites. A 2022 whistleblower posting anonymously on Reddit alleged that a 1992 excavation near the North Rim uncovered a vault of crystalline artifacts which were confiscated by federal agents citing national security. Others tie the disappearances to extraterrestrial guardians, suggesting treasures are remnants of alien technology guarded by entities that deter intruders. Hopi elders in a 2021 interview cautioned that removing sacred items angers the Katsanam spirit beings who enforce balance, a belief echoed by reports of sudden storms or rockfalls thwarting treasure hunts. The canyon's restricted zones amplify these tales. Areas like the Supai region and Toro overlook off-limits without special permits are hotbeds for treasure rumors. In March 2025, a drone operator shared footage on Instagram of a metallic object half buried in a restricted cave, sparking speculation of a lost relic before the post was removed for violating park regulations. The interplay of myth and reality, gold, spirits, and vanishings, cast the canyon as a living enigma, where greed meets mystery, and the bold are tested by forces unseen. As the Grand Canyon cradles the night in its ancient arms, its shadowed depths hum with stories older than the stars above, tales that breathe life into the stone itself. Tonight, we delve into the myths of the canyon's origins, drawn from the rich folklore of the Native American tribes who have called this land home for millennia. These are not mere stories, but sacred narratives weaving gods, cataclysms, and cosmic forces into explanations for the canyon's birth. Do they encode memories of real events, or are they poetic veils over truths too vast for history to hold? The Hopi, whose ancestral lands embrace the canyon's rims, offer a cosmology that paints the landscape as a living testament to divine will. Their stories, passed down through generations and recorded in a 2018 cultural archive, speak of Taiwa, the infinite creator, who entrusted his nephew, Satuk Nong, to shape the world. In the Third World, a time of greed and discord, humanity strayed from balance, prompting Sotoknang to unleash a great flood to cleanse the earth. The survivors, guided by the ant people, sheltered in underground caverns within the canyon's depths. When the waters receded, the Fourth World was born, and the canyon emerged as a scar of that deluge, its jagged walls carved by divine wrath to remind humanity of humility. The Hopi point to the Sapu, a sacred emergence point near the Little Colorado River, as the birthplace of their people, where the canyon's cliffs became a ladder from the underworld to the stars. This narrative, rich with spiritual weight, suggests the canyon as a monument to renewal, its strata holding memories of worlds lost and reborn. The Navajo Orda, whose vast reservation borders the canyon, weave a different thread into this tapestry. Their creation story, shared in a 2020 oral history project, tells of the first man and first woman who ascended through 4 worlds to reach the present. In the Third World, chaos reigned as monsters roamed, and the holy people, deities of sky and earth, intervened to restore order. The canyon, in some tellings, was formed by the monster slayer, one of the hero twins who battled the big monster Yeso. His thunderous blows, fueled by lightning from the sun, split the earth, carving the chasm as a battleground where chaos was tamed. The Navajo see the canyon's layered rocks as the petrified remains of these ancient struggles, with certain cliffs like those near the Anastasia Bridge marked by petroglyphs of warriors and serpents hinting at cosmic conflicts. This myth frames the canyon as a sacred arena, its depths a reminder of the balance between destruction and creation. The Halapai, whose name means people of the tall pines, contribute a vibrant tale of elemental forces. In a story shared at a 2022 tribal gathering, they described the brothers Paquita and Hatali, sons of the creator Tahopa. In a fit of rivalry, Paquita dragged his mighty axe across the earth, tearing open the canyon to prove his strength, while Hatali called forth torrent of water to fill it, shaping the Colorado River. Their father, angered by their recklessness, froze the chasm as a lesson in harmony, its walls standing as a testament to their power and folly. The Halapai point to the river's wild rapids as Hatali's lingering spirit forever shaping the canyon's heart. This myth, alive with sibling drama, cast the canyon as a divine sculpture, its beauty born from conflict resolved. These indigenous narratives, while distinct, share a common thread. The canyon is a product of cataclysm shaped by gods or spirits to mark a turning point in the world's story. They resonate with global creation myths like the biblical flood or the Norse Ymir's dismemberment, suggesting a universal memory of upheaval. Some researchers posting on X in 2025 propose these stories encode real events. A mega flood 700 million years ago, perhaps tied to the snowball Earth, or a tectonic rift during Rodinia's breakup. The Great Unconformity, with its billion-year gap, might reflect such a cataclysm, its erasure of history mirrored in these tales of cleansing and rebirth. Conspiracy theorists add a twist, suggesting the myths veil extraterrestrial involvement. Could the gods be star beings, their floods or axes, metaphors for advanced technology that carved the canyon? A 2023 YouTube video speculated that the Hope's ant people were aliens, their Kever's bases for cosmic visitors who shaped the landscape. While speculative, these ideas draw intrigue from petroglyphs near the Supai region, depicting star-like figures wielding tools. The canyon's restricted zones, where these myths are strongest, remain off limits, prompting questions. Are authorities hiding evidence of ancient interventions? Perhaps tools or structures buried in the cliffs, beneath the Grand Canyon's star-strewn canopy, where time seems to pause in reverence. The ancient rocks pulse with stories of rituals and encounters that transcend the earthly. I am Mr. H, your keeper of enigmas on Codex of the Lost, guiding you through a twilight realm where the canyon's depths whisper of cosmic connections. Tonight, we unravel the threads of ancient rituals and alleged alien-human interactions. Tales that paint the canyon as a sacred stage for communion with beings from beyond the stars. Do these stories reflect spiritual practices of forgotten tribes? Or do they hint at extraterrestrial visitors who shaped humanity's path? As the night unfolds let these mysteries ignite your curiosity, weaving dreams that soar beyond the horizon. The Grand Canyon, stretching 446 kilometers across Arizona's heart, has long been a spiritual nexus for its indigenous peoples. The Hopi, whose ancestral wisdom permeates the region, describe sacred ceremonies conducted in hidden caves, subterranean chambers, where shamans communed with the Katsinaman, spirit beings from the cosmos, according to a 2020 oral history archive. These rituals involved offerings of cornmeal and turquoise placed on altars aligned with solstices to honor star ancestors who descended in flying shields. Petroglyphs near the Supai village etched into cliffs depict figures with radiant halos wielding star-like tools, suggesting ceremonies that invoked celestial powers. Were these rituals mere worship, or did they facilitate tangible contact with otherworldly entities? The Hope's tales of the ant people who sheltered humanity in underground refuse hint at beings with advanced knowledge, perhaps guiding rituals to harness the canyon's electromagnetic energies. Navajo traditions add depth to this narrative. Their night way ceremony, still practiced today, invokes the holy people's sky deities who once walked the earth. A 2019 tribal record describes a legend of a canyon ritual where singers used crystal wands to channel starlight, creating a bridge to the heavens. Near the Anastasia Bridge, a restricted site, carvings show humanoid figures with elongated skulls beside disc-shaped objects, fueling speculation of alien encounters encoded in sacred rites. These ceremonies, conducted in darkness to mirror the cosmos, suggest the canyon as a conduit for interstellar dialogue, its quartz rocks amplifying signals to distant worlds. Modern accounts amplify these ancient echoes. In the 952nd, as UFO sightings surged across the Southwest, researchers exploring the canyon reported strange phenomena during ritual-like gatherings. A 956 incident documented in a now rare UFO journal described a group of amateur archaeologists near the North Rim performing a Makapai ceremony. As they chanted, a pulsating light descended, hovering over their fire before vanishing into a cave. Participants reported a telepathic message urging respect for the land. A sensation echoed in 2023 by a New Age group meditating near Havasu Falls, who claimed visions of gray-skinned beings offering cryptic warnings about Earth's future. These experiences shared on X in 2024 suggest the canyon remains a hot spot for contact, the sacred sites acting as beacons. Alternative theorists proposed these rituals tapped into alien technology. A 2022 YouTube channel, Alien Chronicles, highlighted carvings near the Bright Angel Trail, resembling circuit patterns, suggesting ancient altars doubled as energy devices. Electromagnetic readings taken by paranormal researchers in 2025 spiked near these sites, correlating with reports of tingling sensations and vivid dreams of starscapes. Could the canyon's rituals have been guided by extraterrestrials teaching humans to access cosmic knowledge? The Halapai stories of light towers in caves shared in a 2021 festival describe glowing pillars used in rites to summon sky gods, possibly advanced devices mistaken for spiritual artifacts. Conspiracy narratives weave government secrecy into the tale. Restricted zones like those near the Isis temple may hide evidence of these interactions, with rumors of 962nd military digs uncovering crystalline relics that pulsed with energy. A 2024 X post claimed leaked memos described a Pentagon project studying canyon rituals for psychic applications. Though no documents surfaced, the canyon's energy, amplified by its geological anomalies, might explain why such sites are guarded, preserving secrets of alien-human collaboration. As we drift towards slumber, the Grand Canyon emerges as a cosmic altar where ancient rituals bridge earth and sky. Were these ceremonies human devotion or guided by starborn mentors? Let these questions linger, painting dreams of glowing